Hey guys, I am here with actor and activist and author and environmentalist. Do you have one more for me before I say your name?
That's a puppeteer.
Puppeteer Ed Begley Jr. I did not know the puppeteer.
I'm not a puppeteer.
portion.
I just wanted to embellish my resume.
That was pretty good.
It's a thing to do nowadays. Just pad it a little bit.
You guys, of course, know Ed from a zillion movies and TV shows, but what your real passions are, I think your real passions are really the environment, right? Even more than
Correct.
acting, although you've done a tremendous amount of great stuff.
I have a great deal of passion for acting, but the urgency is such that I have a lot of zeal for environmental work now more than ever. I started in 1970, but now more than ever.
So much of the stuff that you've dedicated your life to is so in line with what we do here at Riot, which is why I've been harassing you on Twitter for about 2 years to get in here.
About time.
And you came in. So what I want to start with is environmental stuff is now cool, but you were doing this stuff 30 years ago, if not longer.
45 years ago.
Or 45 years ago. So start there. How did you get into it, and what possessed you to be doing this when it wasn't cool? Because everybody's doing it now, right?
It was very uncool to drive a three-wheel electric vehicle back in 1970, I can promise you. It was not a Babe Magnet.
Yeah.
I took Cindy Williams on a date, the woman who played Shirley in
Yeah,
the show
of course.
Laverne and Shirley. I took her
course.
on a date in my electric vehicle. I'll pick you up in my electric car. At first, she thought it was kind of cool, but I don't think I'd fully charged it or something.
Right.
It was going kind of slow. There was a kid going past us on Hot Wheels giving us the finger. No, it was
Wait, but
slow.
how did you actually get an electric car back then? So you built this yourself? Or
No,
how?
I bought it from a guy named Dutch, and I just looked up in the yellow pages and went, I'm going to just, so I can tell people I tried, I'm going to look up under electric cars or electric vehicles to see that they don't have them. I know nobody, what the hell is this? Electric cars. The guy sold them. They were really supposed to be for like retirement communities. They had a California license plate, but it was basically a golf cart with an enclosure, you know, like a
And it was
canvas
fully legal? I mean,
It was street legal. I quickly surmised it was much cheaper to plug it in the wall than it was to buy 1970 gasoline. Same way my electric car, my Nissan Leaf, is the same today. It's cheaper to plug that into the wall than to buy 2015 gasoline, just cheaper. So I like that, and there was no maintenance to speak of, no tune-up or oil change or fan belt, radiator flush, smog check, valve job, none of that anymore. So I went, I like this green stuff. But what really led me to it before that electric car was living in smoggy LA. My dad was a very positive person, and he was a conservator who liked to conserve. He turned off the lights and turned off the water, saved string and saved tin foil. So he was the son of Irish immigrants. He had lived through the Great Depression. So he died within a few days of the first Earth Day, David. And so I did a lot of this stuff to honor him as much as anything.
Yeah. So when you started doing this, did people think you were nuts? Because even now, I'll see some weird vehicle on the road, you know, that somebody's makeshift put together. I'm not talking about the Leaf or the Volt.
Right.
Some other thing, and it'd be like, well, what's that person up to? So they must have thought you were bonkers.
The electric car was nutty, but all the other stuff, people right away went, that's good, I want to do that. Recycling in 1970 was quite cumbersome. You had to drive it to, my electric car, thankfully, I would drive it to, you know, like Sun Valley. Only on Saturdays and Sundays between 12 and 3 could you recycle anything, glass, aluminum, anything, a newspaper. So I took all that stuff there starting in 1970. I started composting. And composting back then, I was in an apartment, so I couldn't have a compost pile. I had like a little, you know, a diaper pail with a lid on it, you know, and I put all the table scraps in that, and I would take it. What am I going to do with it? I saved it. Now, I didn't think it through. What do I do with it now? I'm in an apartment. Near the railroad tracks, there's some land there. Nobody will probably bother me. And I started going in the dead of night. I dig a hole and put this stuff just to return it to the earth, to kind of, you know, and suddenly stuff was growing there where I was burying this stuff, and it was kind of a great lesson because stuff just started growing from just burying organic matter in the ground.
Incredible. And we still don't really do that much, right? We should have way more composting programs. So just as an easy thing, we're going to get more to that kind of stuff later.
Yeah, anybody has any piece of property with a front or backyard, grow some food. You know, growing lawns is kind of some rich feudal lord leftover or something, but you should grow some food that you can eat, and then also don't be trucking in organic matter to amend the plants with, you know, plant food. Make your own plant food from your old table scraps and grass clippings or whatever you got.